Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026@gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
We all know that feeling. You've achieved the milestones, the career, financial stability, the right relationship status.
Right.
But deep down, there's just this disconnect. You look around and think, I should be further along.
Mm-hmm.
You're successful on the outside, but inside, you feel completely stuck. And that brings us to a really crucial question. Is finding a life purpose just a luxury, or is it the absolute foundation for any kind of real success?
It's definitely the latter. And our source material from excerpts of Purpose-Driven Life, it confirms this.
Yeah.
That feeling of being stuck is, well, it's pretty much the standard experience for adults who haven't defined their meaning.
So if not the exception, it's the rule.
Exactly. The struggle isn't finding the answer, but committing to the really difficult process of looking inward. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack the core concepts.
Yeah.
What life purpose is, why it's so hard to find, and how you transition from just reacting to life to consciously directing it. We want to synthesize this to help you, our listener, find your own distinct meaning and, start that journey.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What's the definition we're working with?
So the material frames life purpose as the first absolutely necessary step to living a conscious life. Without
it, your daily efforts, all that activity, it's basically just killing time.
You're just waiting for the next distraction.
You could chase these goals for years. A promotion, a bigger title, only to get there and realize it wasn't even what you wanted.
Right. And what's fascinating is how the sources talk about the commitment needed. Many people just live according to consensus.
What do you mean by that?
They follow others' expectations, societal norms.
Mm-hmm.
But if you decide to pursue your purpose, You are choosing your own beliefs and values, and that will fundamentally displease other people.
So it's not a gentle path.
Not at all. It involves confusion, conflict, fear, revisiting old choices you made under pressure. The sources call it a spring cleaning of the mind, and that often means confronting past mistakes.
That's a powerful description. But in the middle of that painful spring cleaning, how do you know if you found the real thing or just another shiny object?
The material gives 3 non-tangible ways to measure it.
Okay.
The first one is maybe the most brutal: sacrifice and struggle.
So not how easy it is.
Exactly the opposite. True purpose is measured by how much struggle you're willing to tolerate for it. If you give in easily, it was never your purpose.
Like an entrepreneur who quits after one failure.
Or a writer who stops because of one bad review. If the purpose keeps you going despite the long nights, the bad days, the lack of reward, that's proof it's part of who you are.
Okay, what's the second determinant?
It's childhood joy. The sources ask if you enjoyed doing this as a kid, only to rediscover it later.
Now, wait a second. That's a bit of a challenge, right? Does that mean every kid who doodles in class has a suppressed purpose as an artist?
That's where the nuance comes in. It's not the specific activity, but the feeling behind it. The compulsion to do it without any external reward.
I see.
The sources say that social and professional pressure, especially in your 20s, it just wrings the passion out of you. It demands that everything you do has to have some kind of financial or social payoff.
And if you can reconnect to that pure enjoyment without caring about the payoff,
that's often the sign that a true calling is breaking through all that noise.
And the final point.
It connects back to that fear we mentioned. Vulnerability and embarrassment.
Okay.
If you're genuinely passionate, you risk looking foolish. You risk failing in public just to get better. Your true purpose won't let you care what others think.
Because the drive is stronger than the fear.
It just compels you forward. And when you don't have that, you automatically just, you inherit other people's values. And that's where the whole system collapses.
Right, it just completely falls apart. And that leads us to this big contrast the sources draw.
The 2 ways to live. The conscious life and the unconscious life.
And in a conscious life, you're intentional. You're living the same life as others maybe, but you experience it differently. You have control.
But in the unconscious life, things just happen to you. You feel like you're being pushed by a giant wave. You're just going with the flow, but you have no say in where you end up.
You dread Monday mornings.
Yeah, your only motivation is making it to Friday.
So if that's the unconscious life, what are the tangible benefits of finding meaning? What does it actually do for you?
Well, the first thing is clarity and focus. It helps you look past all the popular default goals.
You mean like more money, a bigger house, the latest gadget?
Exactly. It helps you eliminate the things that don't really matter. Success stops being this universal metric, and it becomes unique to you.
The sources have that great example, right? For one person, success is being the next Newton, which takes years of sacrifice.
Right. And for someone else, it's just owning the latest Audi, meaning shift success from a quantity of stuff to a quality of personal achievement.
The second benefit is that meaning teaches what defines you.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Because if you lead a meaningless life, you let society or your job title write your script for you.
That's how people get stuck in jobs they hate. It was just what was available or what their family recommended.
But once you commit to a purpose, you start defining your own terms. Your passion can eventually become how you make a living. And it gives you clarity on who needs to be in your life to support that.
And who's toxic to that journey?
Exactly. And the third point is that purpose keeps you connected with the present.
Which sounds a bit counterintuitive. You'd think a big, long-term purpose would have you focused on the future.
But a meaningful life is demanding. It requires planning, patience, ownership. It forces you to delay gratification for a long-term goal.
So you have to focus on what you can do right now.
Precisely. If your purpose is writing a book, you have to make time for it tonight, even with other commitments. That's a deliberate choice, an action in the present. You're trading short-term comfort for long-term significance.
Okay, so if the benefits are that profound, and they really are, why is this so hard for so many people?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
It's this universal struggle.
And the sources point to a few major hurdles. The first ones are external, mainly societal influence.
And this isn't just about high school cliques.
No, it continues right into adulthood. The pressure to conform, to take a certain career path. It stops people from ever even listening to their inner calling.
Another big one the sources mention is low self-esteem.
A massive obstacle. If you grew up with constant criticism from parents, teachers, anyone, self-love becomes basically impossible.
And without that, how can you value your own time and interests enough to even start looking?
You can't. You just end up criticizing yourself, believing you aren't worthy of a purpose.
And that ties into the lack of freedom to dream. This is when people tell you your passion is unrealistic.
Or that it won't pay the bills.
Yeah.
You want to be a photographer, but everyone points to a safe job in finance. This pressure to hit certain milestones by a certain age just shuts down your true calling.
But the most interesting obstacle you mentioned is internal. This fear of the dark side. What is that?
It's not just fear of failing on the outside. It's the fear of encountering your own flaws, your failures, your selfish desires, all the parts of yourself you don't like.
So people just want to focus on the bright side of their personality.
They find comfort there and they actively hide the rest, thinking if they don't look at it, it's not real.
But if we're talking about finding an ultimate purpose, we can't hide from those parts.
Absolutely not. The sources are clear. You cannot achieve true purpose until you address and accept those perceived flaws. It's choosing to stay incomplete, because becoming whole involves some pain.
This brings us to a really key distinction the material makes. Happiness versus fulfillment.
Yes, and this is so crucial. Getting this wrong is why people give up. Happiness is universal, it's objective, short-term, and, fleeting.
It's tied to external things, family, career, money.
Right. But fulfillment, that's personal and unique. It comes from investing significant time and effort into something that's yours. It's an attainment, not just a feeling.
So for one person, exercise is a chore. But for you, it's fulfilling because you're investing in your own well-being.
Exactly. And the longevity factor is key. Happiness is not sustainable. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
But fulfillment is eternal. It gets etched into your brain.
Upsetting news can take away happiness in a second.
But that sense of fulfillment, of completion, that belongs to you. No one can steal the knowledge that you accomplished something meaningful and difficult.
So an Oscar can just be a statue if the work itself didn't fulfill you.
Right. Happiness can make you lazy. Fulfillment demands hard work, and it urges you on to the next challenge. The sources use this powerful metaphor, the rainbow.
The rainbow.
Happiness is just one color, but fulfillment is the whole rainbow. It's made up of passion, drive, emotion, and critically, grief and failure.
You have to walk through all of it.
You do. Think of a doctor working long, brutal hours, dealing with tragic cases. They aren't happy in that moment. They might feel grief, misery.
But the internal feeling is one of peace.
Precisely. They feel fulfilled. Their willingness to experience that misery for the sake of their mission is the ultimate proof of their purpose. Fulfillment holds you steady even when you're hurting.
Okay, so let's talk about false purposes. The sources point to things like acquiring wealth or starting a family. But hang on, those are like core societal pillars. Are the sources saying those are bad?
Not at all. It's not that they're inherently bad. The nuance is in the motivation.
Okay.
They often become false purposes because they're the default choice. They're what's prescribed. They become false when they're chosen out of fear of being rejected or lonely or poor instead of genuine self-directed love.
So you hide the artist inside to be a 9-to-5 person because that's what's expected.
And that path, the fear-driven one, eventually leads to this deep regret, this feeling that you're just like others.
I love that Antoinette Foy quote. The core of your true self is never lost. Let go of all the pretending.
And letting go of the pretending means you have to do the work. You have to define your purpose first. It's the non-negotiable step. Frederick Buechner said it best. Purpose is the place where your deep gladness meets the world's needs. You have to define that place.
And the benefits of defining it are immediate. It gives you direction. It's like a shield against distractions and other people's suggestions.
And it helps you organize the day-to-day plan. Crucially, it also allows you time to experiment. Before you commit years of your life, you can explore your passions and talents.
So you reduce the risk of wasting all that effort.
Definition is discipline. It really is.
Okay, let's get into the action phase. Chapter 7 lays out some practical steps. The first one is to find what excites you.
Yeah, look for the thing that feels easy, even if you need practice. The thing you doodle without thinking, or an activity you try for the first time, and it just feels familiar.
Then, step 2. Aggressively ask yourself why.
And the answer has to be fulfillment. Not a nice lifestyle, not making your parents happy, not fitting in. Once you have that solid internal why.
And then what?
Just do it. The sources are really clear on this. Action clarifies things in a way that just thinking about them never will.
I like that. And also to explore options. Stop looking for the one thing.
Yes. That singular mentality is so limiting. You can be a life coach who also writes, travels, and designs. Don't box yourself in.
And this all ties into the last point. Don't suppress doubts.
Right. Doubt isn't failure. Doubt is progress. It means you're questioning things. Ignoring your doubts is how you get stuck with a false purpose in the first place.
So the final transition phase, Chapter 8, is all about action, starting with setting your goals.
Yes. Purpose without goals is just useless ideology. The transition is putting purpose into tangible action. A blogger doesn't just get a website. They set a vision, like reaching 10,000 readers.
And you have to prepare to overcome the fear factor.
Oh, absolutely. The fear of judgment, rejection, disappointing yourself, leaving your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
It stops most people cold. You have to constantly remind yourself why you started.
The financial part is tough, too. The sources say you often have to accept a temporary dip in comfort, right?
Absolutely. Financial planning is essential. Your passion won't pay you right away. You need a plan to balance things, maybe a part-time job, and save enough to keep you going.
It's a disciplined sacrifice of the present for the future.
It is. And finally, systems are important. You need the right infrastructure, whether that's tools or a community.
So socialize with people who get it. Make your own little family.
Yes, and you have to make others aware of your purpose. You have to bring your work out into the world. Hiding your purpose is not transitioning.
So we've covered a really demanding journey today. Defining meaning is the key to a conscious life. Fulfillment beats happiness, and self-discovery means facing down, well, everything. Societal pressure, your own inner fears.
The whole point is that a purposeful life is one you actively carve out for yourself day by day. Your purpose is the anchor that holds you steady through all of it.
We talked about defining purpose, setting goals, building systems, the what and the how. We learned that fulfillment requires commitment, sacrifice, and embracing mistakes and even misery as part of the process. So what stands out to you right now? If you commit to this, you risk everything. So here's the provocative question to leave you with. Are you more afraid of failing at your true purpose or succeeding at your false one? Think about the specific financial steps and the systems you need to build today to make sure your transition, whenever it happens, is based on committed action, not just aspiration.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026 at gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
Welcome back to the deep dive. You know that feeling in the back of your mind, that sense that you should be doing something more, that your current work just isn't quite hitting the mark? We're tackling that feeling head on today. This deep dive is all about answering one of life's biggest questions. How do you awaken your true calling and, find work that you genuinely love?
And it's a topic that can feel a little soft sometimes, maybe too philosophical.
Yeah.
But the sources we've pulled together for you are anything but.
Right.
We're looking at a really comprehensive, well-researched toolkit. These are the actual strategies and mental frameworks that successful people use to not just define their purpose, but to get past all the roadblocks that pop up.
So our mission is pretty simple. We want to distill all of this into core strategies. By the end of this deep dive, you should walk away with a clear idea of how to define your purpose, find your passion, and build the habits you need for a truly purpose-driven life.
And I think the place we have to start is just with the terminology.
Absolutely.
What even is purpose? And why do so many people get it confused with just setting a goal?
That distinction feels critical.
It's paramount. Purpose gets thrown around like a buzzword, but according to the research, it's a very specific cognitive process. It is what provides personal meaning, and crucially, it acts as a central, self-organizing aim in your life.
So it's like a compass.
Exactly. You can think of it as your ultimate navigational system. It's the compass that dictates your overall direction.
And most people mistake that compass for what? A single destination on the map?
They do. And they are not at all synonymous. Think of goals this way. They are precise, They focus on specific behaviors, things you do right now, and they have what the sources call terminal results.
Like a finish line.
A clear finish line. Once you run the marathon, that goal is done.
But purpose doesn't have a finish line.
No, it's continuous. Purpose is much broader. It's enduring. It's the driving force that stimulates and manages all those individual goals. I mean, if you're only operating with goals, you might get that promotion, you might finish that huge project, but what happens right after?
The crash, the what now feeling.
That's it. You hit an emotional wall because you're struggling to find the next target. Purpose acts as the goal manager that lets you move seamlessly from one achievement to the next so you can maintain motivation for decades.
Okay, so purpose is the why for all the different whats. Now, the sources get pretty technical here and suggest we can actually measure our purpose.
We can, along 3 specific dimensions. And this is where it stops being an abstract idea.
So what are they?
Scope, strength, and awareness. Scope is just how far-reaching it is. Does it only affect your job, or does it influence, your actions, your thoughts, your relationships? A purpose with a broad scope touches everything.
And strength is, I'm guessing, how much of a motivational pull it has.
That's right. It's the power it has to actually influence your actions.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a strong purpose that also has a broad scope, the sources show these pronounced positive effects on things like health, longevity, well-being, and critically, it brings resilience.
Right. When the why is strong enough.
How takes care of itself. Exactly.
That makes total sense. But the third one, awareness, is the most interesting to me.
Awareness is your ability to actually articulate your purpose, to consciously think about it. The sources used a great analogy with gravity.
Oh, I like this part.
On Earth, gravity is broad. It affects everything. But our awareness of it is low. We don't think about it. But if you were suddenly on Jupiter, where gravity is twice as strong, your awareness would be, huge.
It would be the only thing you could think about.
Precisely. And when you achieve high awareness of your purpose, it's like increasing your own personal gravity. Your actions, your priorities, they just snap into alignment.
And the behaviors that are consistent with that purpose, they require less effort.
Far less mental friction. You stop agonizing over choices because your purpose acts as an automatic filter.
That clicks. I'm not debating whether to take some evening course if it's outside my gravitational field. The decision is easy.
You save all that energy.
Huh?
And speaking of scope, the sources also noted that having more than one purpose isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Really? I would think that would just fragment your focus.
It can, but it can also be a hedge against discouragement. If one purpose, say a career goal, hits a major obstacle, you can shift your energy to another, like family or community. The caution is you need a manageable number.
Otherwise, you're just switching back and forth, making no real progress.
And hindering progress on all fronts.
Okay, we've got the compass, now we need the engine. Passion. We're always told passion is this, rare thing only for artists or startup founders.
Yeah, and the source material just rejects that idea completely. It presents passion as a gift that everybody has, but it requires the right attitude and a willingness to explore. It's not going to just land in your lap.
So what are the keys to unlocking it? The first one is a mindset shift, right? You have to give yourself opportunities.
You have to believe you deserve to be passionate. You have to align your identity with it. Because if you deep down feel you're unworthy of exciting work, you will subconsciously sabotage any chance you get.
And you have to allow yourself to just explore.
This is where so many people get stuck. They fall for the all or nothing myth. They think if they don't immediately love something, they should quit.
Which is completely counterproductive.
Totally. Life is a spectrum. You just need to move toward what makes you come alive, even if that starts with work that you just kind of like.
That's the self-correction the sources really insist on. You have to grow accustomed to liking work first before you can really love it.
Exactly. And to find that direction, you have to do some real soul searching. Ask those deep questions to your subconscious. What would you do even if you didn't get paid for it? What comes so naturally to you that you don't even see it as a skill?
And once you think you have an answer, you have to test it.
Test its credibility, yes. Before you quit your job and move across the country, take a course, volunteer, start a small side project. Make sure it's not just a fleeting fantasy.
Okay, so once that direction is set, we need the structure to keep moving. And that brings us right back to goals.
It does. Goal setting is the foundation for sustained action. It creates this necessary dynamic gap between where you are now and where you want to be. The sources call this constructive discontent.
That sounds uncomfortable. Most people hear discontent and think misery.
Right, but this is different. If you were perfectly content, why would you ever change? Constructive discontent is a focused motivation. It's not about hating where you are. It's being energized by the possibility of closing that gap. That's what drives you.
And for that to work, there are 3 conditions.
First, commitment. That whatever it takes attitude. Second, the goals have to be specific. Get rich is a fantasy. Increase revenue by 10% is a goal. And third, you have to actually engage in goal-directed behavior every day.
But when you're dealing with a massive lifelong purpose, those goals can feel overwhelming. How do you stop that from just crushing your motivation?
Use the efficacy tool. Self-efficacy, which is just your belief in your own ability to do something. If a goal is too far away or too complex, your self-efficacy plummets.
So you break it down.
You set short-term, clear, and challenging sub-goals. These small victories raise your self-efficacy bit by bit. They're like little injections of confidence that keep you going for the long haul.
So we have the right direction, the right goals, but that's all useless without the right internal motor. This brings us to the mindset of the proactive designer.
This is a huge behavioral shift. Being proactive means taking responsibility for your life. It means accepting that your behavior is a product of your decisions, which are based on your values, not on external conditions.
Like the weather or your boss's mood.
Exactly. The opposite is reactivity. Reactive people are controlled by their environment, by their impulses. Bad traffic means a bad day. An insult ruins their week.
Whereas proactive people are driven by their internal values, so their response is constant even when the world is chaotic.
Their response is a choice. And the most important concept here is analyzing your focus. Where are your resources going?
And this brings us to that famous idea, the circle of concern versus the sphere of influence. I think this is maybe the most transformative idea in the entire source material.
I agree. It really is. Your circle of concern is everything you worry about but can't directly control. The weaknesses of other people, the political climate, the stock market.
And reactive people spend almost all their energy there.
90% of it. Complaining, worrying, using up all that precious mental energy on things that cannot change, which just creates more negative energy.
It's a feedback loop.
It is. Proactive people, on the other hand, focus exclusively on their sphere of influence, the things they can control, their skills, their habits, their network, how they respond to a bad situation.
And the sources show that when you do that, when you focus only on what you can change, it creates this positive energy.
It does. And it actually causes your sphere of influence to grow. By choosing to improve your skills instead of complaining about the market, you actually change your own circumstances. You empower yourself.
Once you've got that proactive mindset, the next step is designing the future, which is begin with the end in mind.
Right. You have to live with a clear image of your end state, your legacy, the person you want to have been, as the ultimate reference point for every single thing you do today.
This is what prevents the hollow victory.
Which is just devastating. It's when people achieve all the metrics of success, the money, the titles, only to realize it came at the expense of things they actually valued more. Their health, their family. Without that long-term vision, ambition can blind you.
And if you don't do this work, you're essentially letting someone else write your life script.
Absolutely. If you don't design it, you empower others, your family, your company, society, to script your life for you by default. The solution is what the sources call rescripting. You identify those ineffective patterns and you replace them with new ones that align with your deepest values.
And the practical tool for that is the personal mission statement.
It's the single most effective tool. It has to focus on three things. What you want to be, your character. What you want to do, your contributions. And your core values that everything rests on. It becomes the lens for every decision.
Okay, we've defined purpose, found passion, embraced proactivity, and designed the script. That's the prep work. Now, the final stage, mastery and maintenance. How do we sustain this?
It starts with personal management. This is the continuous planning, organizing, and coordinating of your life to achieve that purpose. And it requires a strong, independent will.
The sources gave 4 rules for this. Let's break them down.
Certainly. First, you map your life, know who you are and where you're going. That informs the second rule. Review your assumptions. Be honest about your strengths and weaknesses. Third is organize yourself and your potential. That's the tactical part.
And the fourth, which is the hardest, is to develop your abilities, imagination, introspection, and especially willpower. We tend to think you're either born with willpower or you're not.
But it's a muscle. Will is measured by your personal integrity, your ability to make and keep commitments to yourself. And you boost it, not by tackling huge resolutions, but by achieving small, consistent ones first. You build that self-trust.
Another tool mentioned for this is mentorship.
Mentoring and coaching are accelerants. They boost your confidence, your self-awareness, your problem-solving skills. But for it to work, you need a clear learning agreement, purposeful conversations, and a foundation of trust.
So, of course, the past will have setbacks. Even the most proactive person hits a crisis. We have to talk about building resilience.
Resilience is that ability to move through challenges while maintaining hope and positive coping methods. And resilient people have 2 core qualities: optimism, a deep belief that things will get better, and control, meaning they believe they can change their circumstances through their own response.
And how do we actively build that?
Through action. The sources talk about using positive affirmations, that words can shape your focus and become reality. You increase your determination. You improve your communication skills so you know how to ask for help. And you practice open-minded decision-making instead of just freezing up.
Finally, we get to the ultimate investment. Living a balanced life. You are the instrument of your own performance. You have to keep it sharp.
This is non-negotiable. You have to invest in yourself across 4 dimensions. First, the physical. Exercise, minimum 30 minutes a day, plus good rest. If your body isn't working, your mind won't either.
Then the spiritual dimension. The core of your commitment to your value system. The thing that informs your mission statement. Practice through meditation, contemplation, just being in nature.
Third is the mental dimension, which is continuing education. You have to be intentional about it after you leave school. Set a goal to read good, challenging literature. 1 book a month, maybe. Force your mind to think.
And finally, the social dimension. Your interpersonal relationships, creative cooperation. This is renewed daily through meaningful interaction with others, making sure your support network is strong.
So, to summarize this entire journey for you, start by defining your purpose as that enduring compass. Use passion as the fuel. Focus your energy only on your sphere of influence. Design your future with a mission statement, and then sustain it all with management and resilience.
And that quality time to recalibrate is non-negotiable. Trying to chase goals that are just fundamentally misaligned with your values, it's a recipe for disappointment.
Remember this final thought from the source material. The true joy in life comes from being used for a purpose that you are totally aware of. Sometimes that light you need is right inside of you, just waiting. Aim to be completely used up by the time your time is out. That is a life well lived.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026@gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We're taking that whole stack of materials you sent over, the research, your notes, all of it, and we're boiling it down to the actionable core.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're diving into what I think is a critical quality. Relentless drive. It's what separates those who just survive adversity from those who actually, thrive because of it.
Right.
And when you really strip it all back, what gives us that capacity to keep going when things get tough? It seems to come down to persistence, perseverance, and perspective.
Yeah.
But really, it's all built on two key traits: grit and resilience.
That's it, exactly. And our mission for you today is pretty clear. We want you to get a really thorough understanding of the relationship between what we call the key trio.
The key trio.
Grit, resilience, and the third piece, the growth mindset. And what's so fascinating is that the data just shows, again and again, that these traits are often way more vital for success than, say, innate talent or raw intelligence.
So it's not what you're born with.
Not entirely. They aren't just useful. They're like multipliers. They make all your other skills actually count for something.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, to lay the groundwork, we have to talk about the mind's basic operating system. You're essentially running one of two programs. There's the fixed mindset,
Right. The idea that your qualities are set in stone. You're either good at math or you're not.
Exactly. You're talented or you're not. End of story.
And the other one is the growth mindset.
Yeah.
This is the belief that you can develop your abilities through, dedication and hard work. That simple belief that I can get better at this, that's the bedrock.
Precisely. And if we accept that the growth mindset is the foundation, then grit and resilience become the tools you use to actually build the structure of your success.
Okay, let's unpack those tools then. Because you hear grit and resilience thrown around all the time, sometimes for the same thing.
Yeah.
But the sources draw a really clear distinction. Let's start with grit. What is it really, beyond just working hard?
Grit, at its core, is a mix of perseverance and passion, but it's directed toward meaningful long-term goals.
Okay, the passion component is key there.
It is. It's not just a fleeting emotion or, a brief obsession. It's about having this deep sense of direction and commitment that guides you over years, maybe even decades.
So it's not the intensity of the flame, it's the consistency of the heat. It's being able to stick with something even when it gets boring or just, really hard.
Absolutely. Because you know where you're headed. And this gets to the main point on grit. Talent without effort is just unmet potential.
Oh, like that.
Talent might help you learn fast, but success requires that applied effort over time. That's what turns raw talent into a real skill. Without grit, those flashes of talent just fizzle out.
That makes perfect sense. So grit is the engine. It keeps you moving toward that distant horizon. So then where does resilience fit in? Because that feels more like a response to setbacks.
That's a great way to put it. Resilience is the recovery system. It's the ability to cope with adversity, to withstand it, and crucially, to bounce back and carry on growing.
I found the analogy and the material really helpful here. We tend to think of resilience as a trampoline. You hit the bottom and you just spring right back up.
Mm-hmm.
But the research suggests it's more like a tough mountain climb with no trail map.
Exactly. You are going to face rock falls. You're going to lose the path, and you'll need time, strength, maybe even help from others to reroute, but the goal is always to keep climbing.
You don't just pop back to where you were.
No.
Yeah.
You take a breath, you reassess, and you find a better way to move higher. You're actually strengthened by that detour. The setback becomes knowledge.
That's a great distinction. Can we break resilience down a bit more?
For sure. You can think of it as mind and body. There's emotional resilience, which is all about staying optimistic and in control during a crisis. And then there's physical resilience, which is your body's ability to adapt and recover from stress or injury. But the best part is that resilience is a learned skill. You can absolutely build it by changing your thinking and your behaviors.
What about that persistence, that grit? Doesn't it sometimes get confused with just being stubborn?
Mm-hmm.
Refusing to quit even when a goal is clearly wrong?
That is a fantastic question, and that's where the growth mindset comes back in as the operational lever.
How so?
The sources show that resilience gets a huge boost from gaining perspective. And that process starts with, frankly, the painful act of accepting the negative things you just can't change.
The things outside your control.
Right. External circumstances, lost opportunities. Once you accept that they're real and unchangeable, you stop wasting energy fighting reality. And that frees you up to focus entirely on what you can control.
Your effort, your strategy, your attitude.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective naturally builds resilience. It empowers you. And if you want to actively develop that growth mindset, the sources lay out 5 really actionable steps.
Okay, let's make these tangible. Step 1 is focus on language.
Mm-hmm. This is about how you talk to yourself and to other people. So instead of praising fixed traits, like saying you're so smart, you praise the strategy and the effort that was used.
Because that's the thing you can control. When you praise effort, you're reminding yourself that you were the one who found the solution.
You got it. Okay, 2. Surround yourself with positivity. And this isn't just, feel-good fluff.
No, it's practical.
It is. Your thoughts direct your actions. So if you create an environment, people, media, whatever, where a growth mindset is the norm, you start seeing support everywhere instead of obstacles.
Okay, number 3.
3 is adopt flexible thinking. Rigidity is the enemy of resilience. A rigid person sees one path, and if it's blocked, they're just stuck.
Whereas a flexible person sees alternatives, they see opportunities, not just problems. And that breeds confidence.
Right, which feeds back into resilience. Then 4 is set purpose-aligned goals. So instead of trying to tackle some huge abstract life purpose,
Which is overwhelming.
Totally, you break it down into small, concrete goals that are aligned with that bigger purpose. Every little win builds momentum and confidence.
And our last one.
Number 5, the crucial pause. Build time for reflection. Whether it's journaling, going for a walk, meditating, it creates awareness. It helps you assess your actions without judgment so you can adjust your strategy going forward.
And to make this really concrete, we're not just talking about, famous entrepreneurs. Grit is everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the first-year wrestler who loses every single match all season but keeps showing up to practice every day.
Yeah, getting pinned every time.
Exactly. But they're there, learning one new thing, one new move. That's grit.
Or what about the middle-aged person who takes up karate?
Right.
They start out completely inflexible, can't even touch their toes.
But they never miss a class. They keep practicing, adapting, and months later they finally earn that first belt. The effort completely overrides the lack of natural talent.
It's that long-term commitment.
It is. Even something like learning a language. Someone decides they want to be fluent in 3 months, and through sheer disciplined effort, they do it. They persisted because the goal was meaningful to them.
Okay, so we've got the fundamentals. Now let's talk about the upgrade. The material introduces this GRIT acronym, which feels like 4 key dimensions to really maximize that potential.
This is where we move from just surviving a setback to actually leveraging it. The first G is for growth.
But we already talked about the growth mindset.
Right, but this is more active. It's the demonstrated ability to rise above the situation and proactively seek new insights to improve your approach. It's about learning fast.
Okay, got it. What's R?
R is resilience, but again, it's an upgraded version. It means being improved and strengthened by adversity, not just bouncing back to where you started.
So you integrate the lesson immediately.
You do. I stands for instinct. And we need to be clear here. This isn't about some mystical gut feeling. It means tapping into your self-awareness and real-time data to reassess your strategies and refine your goals.
So asking yourself, am I still chasing the right thing?
Exactly. Has a better version of this goal appeared? It's the self-correction mechanism. And finally, T is for tenacity. This is different from raw persistence.
How so?
This is strategic tenacity. It's a calculated, wholehearted push designed to make dramatic progress. It's focused effort for maximum impact, not just grinding away endlessly.
That distinction is so important, especially when we talk about bad grit versus good grit. Because I think we've all encountered someone with bad grit.
Oh, for sure. Bad grit is when you pursue goals in a way that hurts other people, or even yourself. Think of a leader who burns out their whole team.
Or just stubbornly sticks to a tactic that is clearly not working just because they refuse to admit defeat.
That's the perfect example. It's self-destructive. Good grit, on the other hand, is pursuing goals in a way that benefits you and others. It requires the wisdom to see when a tactic has failed and the flexibility to find a new route.
That ability to pivot is everything.
It's the difference between failing and failing, but then prevailing.
So, in the workplace, how do we cultivate that good grit in ourselves?
It all starts with meaning. You have to see your work as a vocation, not just a job. You practice, you work on your weaknesses, and you understand the positive impact you're having. That meaning is the fuel.
And for leaders,
Successful leaders instill grit by inspiring their teams, setting high standards, and, this is crucial, granting autonomy. That freedom lets people show their commitment and develop their own good grit.
now let's connect this back to personal wellness, because the stakes here are pretty high. The research is very clear that a lack of resilience makes your mental health vulnerable.
It's like a shield. And when that shield is down, well, non-resilient people often feel victimized by their circumstances.
Well, the problem.
They do for long periods, and they're much more likely to turn to unhealthy coping strategies, alcohol, drugs, withdrawal, just to numb the stress.
So resilience is a protective mechanism against anxiety and depression.
A powerful one. It lets you find enjoyment in life, even when things are hard, because you're focused on what you can control.
This lined up with the traits of happy people we reviewed. Good self-esteem, self-control, optimism, sociability.
And here's the powerful part. The material suggests you can actually boost your happiness and resilience by practicing these things. The whole fake it till you make it idea really applies. If you act in resilient, optimistic ways, that attitude eventually becomes authentic.
So let's bring it all together with some clear behaviors. Resilient people accept the fight. They use adversity as a compass to find their true calling.
Right, the setback is just feedback. They're flexible like water wearing away a rock. And they suffer well. They accept that pain is part of growth.
And, maybe most importantly, they let go. They let go of old anger, fear, even people they don't need anymore to gain clarity.
Exactly. They live in the present. So for everyone listening, let's just run through a final action list. These are the 10 tips to increase resilience.
Let's do it. Number 1, be sociable. Don't isolate. Talk about your problems with people you trust.
2, take control. Don't wait around. Actively work on solutions and take action.
3, commit to decision-making. Doubt kills momentum. Make a decision and go. If it's wrong, you learn and make another one.
Okay, next up, momentum. 4, expect change, be flexible, see interruptions as opportunities.
5, move continuously forward. That often means doing the thing you fear most first.
Yeah.
Eat the frog. Just get it done.
Yes. 6, learn about yourself. Keep a victory log of your accomplishments. Write down what worked. This fuels your confidence for the next challenge.
Okay, and the mindset shifts. 7, banish negative self-talk, stop it in its tracks, and replace it with something positive.
8, accept that bad things happen. See them as temporary, not permanent. Keep a future-oriented mindset.
9, practice optimism. Actively count what you're thankful for every single day. It rewired your brain.
And finally, 10, practice compassion. Nurture yourself. Focus on self-care, sleep, relaxation. You can't be resilient if you're running on empty.
So to wrap up, this key trio, grit, resilience, and the growth mindset, it means you won't fall at the first hurdle.
Right. You'll persist, and you'll convert that adversity into actual usable strength.
And here's the final thought I want to leave you with. The journey to success isn't really defined by how you handle winning. It's about your ability to reassess, to change your approach, and to make sure your drive is always good grit. It's about prevailing over the long term without destroying yourself or anyone around you.
Precisely. So here's a provocative question to consider. We know that resilient people nurture their networks and help others succeed. So how might intentionally focusing on lifting up the people around you actually be the fastest way to strengthen your own resolve and ultimately your own success? Something to chew on.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.